Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Truenut, and welcome back to Rome Total War. Last time, after a fearsome battle on Termon Ridge up here, we finally took over the town, beginning our conquest of Greece, but things aren't exactly going to be easy for us. There's a full stack army holding Athens. Greece still has many territories, including a few overseas over here at Rhodes and over here at Pergamum as well. Meanwhile, yes, they still hold Syracuse, which the poor Scipiones failed to take. But more worryingly, this is probably the bit I'm most worried about, they've got a ship here, one single ship, a battered ship that contains almost a full stack army. I want that army to stay bottled up here in Sicily, but I can't get to it this turn. Now, Actually, this fleet here, if I just kick these Macedonians out of the way and possibly sink them, I might be able to... Oh my goodness, I can! Oh, this is magnificently good news. Right, Admiral, this is definitely yes. Go and finish these bastards off, or at the bare minimum, chase them away from our territory, or downwards. Only 37 men remaining. This one bar, only 37 men. Oh, look at all those hoplites. I don't even want these guys to sink, really, but I don't dare take the risk, because that's too many hoplites too close to my home turf. So, sink those guys, and... okay, good. That's all I want. They're retreating back down south, though if they happen to end up close by to this fleet... would I rather have them sunk, or would I rather have them... Oh, that's an interesting question. You see, I'd almost rather these guys actually survived. How far can they get this next turn? I can't actually tell, because technically, because they've run, they've got like 0 movement points, so until next time I can't see. But, actually, how far these guys here can make it back to the shore? The Scipii army's already weak up here, and there are actually some significant troops still here. Oh, Syracuse has gone up to a large city. How on earth did they pull that one off? I genuinely don't know. Because, like, you know, they've clearly been trading troops. Or maybe they haven't been trading troops here. I don't know. They could have been trading troops elsewhere. But somehow Syracuse has got up to 12,000 people required to get this up to possibly the first large city of the game. Syracuse is actually a high-growth city. Not as high growth as Batavium up there, but still pretty high growth. But yeah, that's probably the first large city of the game. In fact... that almost makes me tempted that I want the city. You know what? We'll think about that. Let's see if we can just finish these guys off quickly. 19 men remaining. Sink. Oh, and there goes another full stack army. Beautiful. Now, you guys can do not much. I could go and clear out you, but you're not worth the risk. I'd rather have these guys just head back in this direction, ready to take out anything else. The Scipii do actually have a full army up here that they could move down. The problem is, actually, I'm doing such a good job clearing the seas that this fleet here will, at some point, be able to... well, it's one ship. It's one flipping ship, and up there, there's one Macedonian ship. Ooh... if the option was available, I could have Syracuse to myself. But just like taking Batavium, which opened up the Julii to start expanding pretty quickly in this direction, if I take Syracuse, that really opens up the opportunity for the Scipii to focus entirely over here on Carthage, which would let them expand relatively quickly. So the Carthaginian capital is... it's got walls. I can't see how big it is. That might be a large city by now as well, I can't tell. Well, in either case, I'm going to need another unit of cavalry over here in Sicily. So let's send one unit of cavalry right down to here. There we are. And they will go and join up and help out the Scipiones, just like the last group did. Meanwhile, over here, yes, we've got a big siege going on at Larissa. I suspect these guys are going to go and help. Actually, probably the worst thing that can happen is... ooh, they can't make it in this turn. Which means probably the worst thing that can happen is this group, and actually this group. Actually, all three of those groups could join together and then just hang out right here. And then in the event of a battle, they'll actually come in. Ooh, I might actually just remember. Okay, I am actually building rams. That's like, we do actually want to be storming this city next turn. There's not much in it right now, so we can storm in. The only dangerous thing is, ooh, there's some good infrastructure here as well. Yeah, the dangerous bit is if they decide to draw up a big army and hang out over here, that's fine. But I would love to think that my Thracian friends over here in the Propontis might actually decide to come over and start threatening Macedonia. They could do. That would be very useful indeed. Actually, one other thing worth considering, just in the diplomacy, the Greeks, are they... oh... the Greeks actually formally allied to the Macedonians. Now that's a bit of a concern, because if a big Greek army decides to march up from here and come up behind me, then that means the Macedonians and Greeks will fight together. As long as they're allied, even if you're two separate factions, you'll fight together. So I can't take on Macedonians and Greeks at the same time, because yeah, that formal alliance means they will fight in a single battle. And that would be a concern. There'll be too many phalanxes to take on at once. By the way, you remember how I mentioned how the poor old Seleucids generally get dogpiled? Yeah, it started happening already. So Ephesus over here, which belongs to the Seleucids, that's already fallen to Pontus. So that's a bit of a shame for the poor Seleucids. They've already almost certainly been a bit dogpiled from Egypt to the south. Actually, let's check on those guys. Actually, I'm not sure if I even can. Can I even see them if I haven't actually found them yet? Or does every single faction shows me if you haven't found them yet. So, the Seleucids, where are you guys? There you are. Yes. Every single person has declared war on them. They're allied with the Scythians, which is completely useless because they don't actually share any borders with the Scythians, I don't believe. So, yeah, literally everyone has dogpiled on Seleucids, as literally always happens. So, probably they might be actually wiped out before I even get over to them. So, that'll be fun. And I wouldn't actually mind training a new spy over in Termon just for the sake of, you know, that's literally one person. We'll just pick out of the 900 people that live here, who is the sneakiest, and that's new spies. Then we're going to have one spy down here, one spy up here. I want to keep a close eye on the Macedonians. They're one of our biggest concerns right now. So, I don't think anyone's in a position to actually force me into a real battle when I end this turn, but we shall see. This is dicey territory for me, but yeah. I also need to start thinking about, do I want to go and take Syracuse for mine? Because now it's a large city, I could seize a really good tech advantage over basically everyone else in the game if I just go and take that now and build advanced Roman infrastructure there. That's now very, very tempting indeed, now I've taken out that army. Or, alternatively, I could leave it and hope that the Greeks are going to try and move one of these big armies over there. Actually, how big is the army over at Pergamum? Tiny. The Rhodes army, I believe, is... that was tiny as well. Yeah, that's a small army. So basically, the majority of the Greek strength is now in Athens and Sparta. So if I could just convince them to send reinforcements over to Syracuse, which they might well try and do. The game, especially the Greek cities, do try and reinforce Syracuse. That would actually make my life much easier. So I'll keep an eye on the ships to see what happens next. Right, nothing else I can do, I believe. Let's end the turn, see what happens next. House of the Julii, what are you doing? You've got some armies over near Marseille. What are you going to do with those guys? And I'm ideally hoping... Okay, here we are, Macedonians. No big move. They haven't moved to relieve Larissa. In fact, they're backing off. Good. That's... Ooh. Okay, Oh, dear. Okay, so, ceasefire against Carthage. I will gladly take that, yep. And if you're willing to resume trade as well, that'd be lovely. And we accept that. Lovely. Okay, so that is brand new map information from Carthage. That's very, very useful indeed. Not least as by now, like every time you can, refresh map information, because map information gives you the little spotlight their diplomats and spies and whatever are standing on, which means you get like a bit of information about what's going on in the wide world. So I'm pretty sure that's just given me a bit of information over here. So that probably means a whole bunch of Carthaginian diplomats are standing over here in Egypt, and that lets me know what's going on, which is really useful. And that means in a moment we'll be able to see just how bad the situation for the poor Seleucids is, because I imagine it's really bad. Right, speaking of which, so yes, obviously we know about this Egyptian territory that belongs to the Egyptians, but oh dear. Yeah, so some of this territory used to be rebel, some of it used to be Seleucid, but it all flipping belongs to the Egyptians now. Oh dear, yeah, Sidon, yeah, Jerusalem there. Basically, ooh, you've moved your capital, la-di-da. I swear I think the default starting capital for the Egyptians isn't, or is it? I might be misremembering. I thought the starting capital for the Egyptians was Alexandria, but again, I may be mistaken. But it certainly would appear that, yeah, some of the Seleucid territories they've been kicked out of them. But yeah, the Seleucids are interesting because they have a big territory that's like an L shape that stretches all along here and then all along here. And that means they're surrounded on all sides and their territory is really spread out. And their strength is in infantry because they don't have the strong... Actually, they have pretty decent cavalry. It's just their best cavalry comes in the late game. So by the time it's available to them, they're normally already dead. Now, what have we got here? We've got... Ooh, Stoic philosophy has been invented or discovered or something. Okay, faction announcements. That's probably the most important one. Retinue. Priest of Mars for... Ooh, +2 command when attacking for those two guys. Honestly, that's probably the least useful. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure like the command stats is how the game calculates propensity to win when you're auto-resolving battles. I think if you're not auto-resolving battles, the command stat is literally useless. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe that's true. But actually, I will say, Cornelius Brutus, despite your falling sickness, actually, you've done alright. With very lively, that's actually a really good trait you've picked up. Good wife above reproach, I'll be unfortunately cancelled out by your homeliness and falling sickness. Yeah, this guy's never going to be influential. He's got a -4 influence debuff on him. But, very lively, this guy could still be a competent commander given time, so that's worth thinking about. Plus 20% movement points. Yeah, that's decent. And nothing on the diplomacy other than our ceasefire with Carthage. Fine. Right, let's have a look. Ooh! Hoo-hoo-hoo. Okay. So, the skip... Oh, Scipio. You don't want to do this. You do not want to do this. 2 units of horses, 2 units of war dogs, and a single unit of infantry. And you're going to try and take Syracuse with that. And you don't have any siege equipment yet. Oh, guys, I promise. I really, really promise you don't want... That's just throwing away good men. Fine, you know what, whatever, let them do it. Now, let's have a look-see over at the Greek navies, because this is important. So look at that. Just as I suspected, a massive army is heading overseas, and what they want to do is reinforce Syracuse, and I can probably pick those lads off. Now, the problem is, I kind of want to... Right, if I move you to here... Okay, and then get the... Oh, I can't get the flipping cavalry in there. Right, I really need to have you over here ready to intercept that army when he gets up here. Because right now that is... Yeah, that's the army... No, that's not the ship in question. Which one's the ship in question? It's not you. Where are you? There you are. It's this one. Okay, so this ship here cannot make it to my territories or thereabouts anytime soon. So I'm just going to move this to up here. And then we're just going to keep an eye on what happens next. This fleet has nothing to fear from pirates. And now, yeah, wherever these guys go, unless they head straight over the sea, we just need to keep an eye on that. We should be fine. Right, now you move to here. You can board that fleet. And I can't quite get you ashore, I don't think. But I don't think these guys are capable of attacking next turn. They don't have enough build points. So, if I can... just get this fleet moving over here, that's fine. So, we'll have a unit of cavalry standing next to these guys very, very soon indeed. But yes, as I thought, the moment Syracuse was undefended under attack, the Greek cities respond, which means as a direct result, yeah, the forces... Oh, wait, hang on. Wait, okay. Oh dear. Bloody Greek city-states pulling forces after the Larissa. Oh, and our first Pontic navy. We haven't seen any of that yet so far. The Pontic guys are over here. They're kind of modern-day Turkish region. Right. So we've got a problem here. In fact, we've actually got a really big problem, which is a double Macedonian army. A big one, albeit it looks like it's kind of a bit padded with peasants and peltasts. That's coming down to relieve Larissa. And so, in fact, is a small but much more elite Greek army heading in the same direction. I need to come up with... Oh, dear. Right, let's get our spy doing exactly what his job was. Get him up here, have a little look-see. They clearly saw him there because they just turned to face him. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this army has a lot of peltasts and a lot of really soft, squishy guys. So if I can get this army on its own, it's kind of screwed. Anything you know about that guy? He's not really a great commander. Fine. This guy, however, family member, has brought a ridiculous amount of cavalry. The cavalry is soft and squishy, but it's got a hell of a charge bonus. If it just straight up charges into me, that could be really flipping dangerous. But that is not the worst army at all. I'm almost more worried about this army accidentally joining up with one of these, because either of these armies supported by this one, or rather, this army being supported by one of these, that's risky. Okay, what do we get? You know what, let's just take Larissa, and we'll work from there. But we need to start getting another army working really, really fast here. Well, one thing I am glad I did now is I destroyed that Greek army rather than risking it coming anywhere near here, because that means that the armies that I've been training up in Tarentum and Croton can be moved straight over to help reinforce on the Greek mainland, because I think they're going to be needed sooner rather than later. Let's get these armies moving right now. Croton, I might to drop the tax rate a little bit. Yeah, you know what, that's fine. There are normal taxes right now. I'm happy to drop that to low. That's not making a huge yet. It's losing me a couple of hundred. Croton's not really where I'm making the money. Tarentum's where I'm making a ton of money. I need to really move like someone back over to Croton. But Croton's not that important. Tarentum's vastly more important than someone competent there. And this guy is decent, albeit... Oh, that's not so good. Yeah, he's become frugal, unfortunately, because of that really high tax rate that I've been implementing at Tarentum. So now, yeah, he gets the 5% discount on construction, which is great. 5% bonus on tax, great, but +1 to squalor, which slows down growth and also causes other more serious problems later. But this is nice, 10% bonus. Yeah, he's getting a load of bonus on tax income. That's very, very nice. And 10% bonus on trade, too. Yeah, this guy is a very, very competent administrator. Now, over in Apollonia, let's just get a single bireme in production. That'll be useful just to move, yeah, that can move from here to pick up this army to move them over here. Because I think we need if we can, I'd like to bring this entire force over to here, because then we've got this, yeah, we've got the beginnings of a decent army. Actually, just step outside the city and have a look, see how much the... Oh, look at that. You lose 1,000 income by virtue of him stepping outside. What I'm going to do is I've got all this money. Oh, yes. Mercenary hoplites. Samnite mercenaries that you can get. You get them here in Tarentum. I don't think you really get them anywhere other than Southern Italy. I can't remember ever seeing them anywhere else. These guys are... okay. They're spearmen, and the Romans just don't really get much in the way of spearmen at this point in the game, in the early game. So you can see, like, you know, their attacks are nothing to write home about, 6. But bonus fighting cavalry, what have we got over there? A great big Macedonian light lance army, and they've got a ton of defense. 15 defense is actually pretty impressive. So I'm just going to buy all of this. It's 2,000, but right now I've got tons of money. They come with a free point of experience too. So you guys go and join up with that army. You step back inside. That's now gone down to 800 and... why is that changed? Oh! Do purchase mercenaries come out of the population? Because that change in income normally indicates, hey, you've just changed the population, and thus we've changed how much money ought to be drawn from this town. That would be really interesting if so. Well, let's just keep these troops being trained here. We're going to be slowly draining the population in these settlements, but that's fine. We just need more troops coming in a hurry. Meanwhile, over in Apollonia, yeah, I'm building stables, because I think we need more. Oh, the population here is low. The problem is, I'm running out of places where I can train troops without kind of screwing over my long-term economic growth prospects. But I might actually kind of need to just for the minute, just because... actually, don't do that, because this place is training a Byron right now. Anyway, Salona can't train much. No, Salona can't do anything for the minute. In fact, ignore that. Go over to stables just for the time being. I might need to train some horses here. And at some point, I'll need to train... oh, bloody hell. Right, annoying little force there, nothing major. This one's a bit more concerning, albeit... it's got an actual unit of general. What's the general's bodyguard there? Oh, militia cavalry, not proper heavy cavalry. That's fine. And loads of peasants too. It's a largish army. We'll need to go and take care of that at some point, rather dear oh dear. Also, I really need to get this guy in Batavium over to actually doing something that's not Batavium, by the way, because he's actually really, really good at fighting because he's a safe fighter. That's because he's now got Hale and Hearty, plus 6 to your general's hit points, how many hits your general can take before dying, as well as Physician improves the chance of casualties recovering from their wounds. So this guy, you know, when people get killed in his command, he just gets them back by magic, and he himself can charge into the fight without running a risk of dying, because he can take so many hits and be absolutely fine. So this guy really ought to be getting involved in the fight. So I really need to get this guy out of here. This is why Juno's fantastic, by the way, as a religion, because, yeah, you kind of get things like physicians and priests of Juno, and all of these things are good things to have. These are really, really damn good things to have. Yeah, especially if you've got a priest of Juno and you've got a physician in your army, so you've got a double boost to casualties recovering. Like, armies that get really badly damaged can be back up to almost full strength, and that's not just saving you time and money, that's saving you population that would have to get sucked out of the general populations of your cities. Those are people who can thus stay as taxpayers, as traders, as helping out the treasury, and the treasury is how you win this game. So yeah, having those sorts of buffs in terms of like armies recovering from casualties, that's really, really worth having. But unfortunately right now, right, Oppius Brutus, you need to get in here in Larissa and basically hunker down, because a flipping storm is coming, my good man. Right, let's get into Larissa, take it. This should be pretty simple to do. We have got, oh, are you the faction? Oh yeah, of course, the faction leader's here. Actually, we've got 2 actual phalanx pikemen, so I'll need to be a little bit careful with those. Light lancers don't do their best inside towns. They're better on open plains where they can move around, flank, and slam into your rear, so I'm not so worried about them. I should be able to pick them off. Yeah, phalanx pikemen I'll just have to be careful with. Pikemen with very long spears and that much defense, they can be a little dangerous, and you've got a ton of heavy cavalry. And you were actually pretty decent, all things considered. Yeah, drill master, architect, sharp understanding of mathematics. I'll be glad to get you out of the way. Right, let's have a look, see where we start off here. So this is a minor city. We've got these walls in front of us that can just be battered down pretty easily. And then we've got a pretty straight shot. Ah, here we are. So this is where the religious building is. A shrine to Demeter, in fact, over here. So that is boosting, I think that's farming output. It's the Greek equivalent of Ceres, if you like. Then we've got a bit of a choke point here going into the main plaza. Alternatively, we could go, yeah, we can actually go down this way, and then we've got a straight road straight up to the plaza. That's probably a bit easier to do, because that gives my archers a bit more of a direct shot. Fine, we'll probably go that way in that case. Don't need to worry about the towers. They'll never be able to hit me and these guys. Then they've got a single bit of indirect fire. So let's just quickly batter down the walls, and I will join you as soon as that is done. Now, what have you guys started to start off doing? For now, the horses are probably going to back off. Yeah, the general's going to back off. The light lancers may or may not decide to back off. But oh no, they're not backing off. They're just... No, I think the general is backing off just very, very slowly. Well, that's fine, because where are my lovely Cretan archers? You guys can just head forward and just start doing your thing, please. So, yeah, not fire at will if you'd be so kind. I want to make sure I know what shot you're making. But you just head forward. We'll just speed up time a little bit. Lovely. So over to here, and any chance you've got a shot at the phalanxes right now? I don't think so. No, but you've got a shot at something. So just take a shot from there, my good man. Lovely. And this should do good damage to the light lance. Oh, it's hitting him in the rear. So that's... Actually, it shouldn't make too much difference to them because they don't have a shield anyway, so that's not counted in terms of their facing. Now, just to move my Hastachis just a little bit closer to the gates, I can probably do more with my Peeler than I have done so far. So let's just move these forward. Yes, indeed. I think the Phalanx Pikemen are going to ludicrously, stupidly overexpose themselves. Meanwhile, my Cretans are now just picking apart the Phalanx Pikemen. This is what we need to do. We're going to have a lot of tough battles from the garrison this town, so I need to take out this entire group without really taking a loss if possible. And now the Illyrians are doing very good jobs just picking apart the light lancers. Marvellous. And actually, before I go any further, how advanced is the military? That's a practice range. Hang on, where is the... Is that a militia barracks? That is a city barracks. That's the... Yeah, that's Principes level. Right, I'd already checked that, I believe, actually. So, yeah, as a result of that, I now know I can retrain my Hastati here. Okay, I'm sending my hoplites in. If someone's going to have to actually guard the entry point to the town, I'd prefer it to be the guys who actually are decent at taking on cavalry, especially as, yeah, we've got the general's bodyguard right there. Let's also just bring up my war dogs. Don't release them yet, because they'll end up running ahead and getting themselves killed up there. But bear in mind, the dogs kind of like automatically regenerate incredibly quickly. As long as the handlers don't get killed, it's fine. So you should feel like pretty confident just throwing away your war dogs, as long as you're in a situation where the battle's going to be over pretty soon. And that phalanx that was trying to guard the front door has broken without a fight. Perfect. Right, nice, easy insertion into the town. Right, one unit of hoplites I'm going to leave kind of drawn nice and deep guarding this road right here, because I suspect that the general may decide he wants to come back and give another go to claiming the front door just yet. The other, I'm going to send, yeah, up this road. So basically, I'm now guarding the two paths the general is logically going to follow. There's nothing to stop him kind of, you know, leaving and going along around the town. But he won't. The AA doesn't really do that. So if I just move you up to here, then that is a good starting point for me to advance. And against, yeah, spears that thick, the general is going to struggle. Well, he could theoretically advance if he wanted to. There's nothing to stop him pushing in. But, yeah, if he does, he's going to take a lot of casualties. So it works for me, given that's the most dangerous thing on the field. Okay, how are we going to lure the general off the plaza? I feel like, yeah, we don't actually have any arrows left, but I feel like potentially my Illyrians could possibly lure him into a big trap over here. Yeah, this might work. If I create a big trap to surround him on this kind of big plaza right here, that's probably the place where we spring the trap and kill their general. Okay, the hoplites are in position to block the entrance to this area. As a general rule, once a unit's kind of retreated onto the plaza, the area won't move it again until it comes under fire, so that's fine. Oh, hello! What have you just done? Why are these guys here? I don't know why these guys are here. These guys decided they just wanted to come forward. That's not good. They're going to break very quickly. Oh, why are you guys up there? I think I might have accidentally clicked on these guys and told them to move forward. That's a shame. I've just flipping lost a unit of hoplites, which is a real flipping shame because those guys are very, very valuable indeed, and they've been wiped out to the last. Why did you guys advance? What the? Okay. Well, if I wasn't at enough of a disadvantage in the coming fight against the massive full stack, here we are. So this is what the trap looks like. The hoplites are at this angle, then we've got 3 units of Astarte, all with Peeler ready to go right here to kind of move in at the side. So basically, you don't really want the cavalry to be taking on these guys like front on, because if they do, they will just slowly push through them. What I'd much rather have is them kind of have, you know, like a portion of them over here, and a portion of the Hastati can just kind of get involved and push into them, stop them getting involved. That means the phalanx stays secure, and the phalanx stays in its phalanx formation, and it does the most damage it can do. So, bring the general forward, and then just see if we can pull their general there, in fact, their actual faction leader, off the plaza. I can't take him on directly. I've got less troops than him. Be ready to pause in a second. And what's going to happen the moment I'm here? That's right, I'm right here. And the phalanx is moving. The general is not. Oh, this is really annoying. I just want to get those heavy cavalry off the plaza. I'm a little bit cautious because if the pathing messes up even slightly, I could be in trouble here. Oh, that looked like the general's sort of interested. Yeah, let's get on there. And yep, sort of interested. Doesn't know what he wants to do. Come on, pursue. Why don't you pursue, you bastard? Why don't you decide you want to follow it? Yes, this is it. This is what we wanted. This is exactly what we wanted. Now my general gets out of there. All my guys prepare to open fire. All of you are on fire at will, meaning any moment now there's going to be an almighty amount of throwing of spears. Welcome to the trap, lads. Welcome to the trap. Marvellous. Right, everyone, toss in your... Why are you not... I don't know why you're not throwing in your spears, but alright. If you don't want to toss in your spears, that's A-okay. Release the war dogs. Toss in all of the javelins. Basically, just keep doing everything we can to these guys. The war dogs are in. They're going to have spears tossing them from behind. And there we are, 30. Broken. Routing. In a lot of trouble. Beautiful. And now the war dogs are basically just going to pursue them and do a lot of damage. The king's not dead yet, and the war dogs are sadly probably going to get themselves a little bit killed. Actually, the war dogs are probably going to do an admiral job. Oh, the war dogs have eaten their leader. I think that's the second Greek king in a row. I decided I was going to feed 2 dogs. So these guys are now going to almost immediately break and be killed. The war dogs are technically fleeing, which is intriguing. No, they seem to be fine again. Lovely. And that is the Greek bodyguard for the general finished off to the last man. Now I just need to figure out a way to take care of the phalanx pikemen. And when I say that, the dogs have decided they... Oh, dogs, no. No, dogs. This isn't the fight you want to take part in, but okay, fine. I can't stop you, I guess. In fact, actually, it's a little bit dangerous. I'm possibly going to... Yeah, because they're at this kind of weird angle, there's too much chance my Hastati will get themselves all caught up. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to send all of my Hastati that still have any throwing spears. And then also... Actually, I'll leave my general where he is. I'm going to send all of you guys actually out and around the city. We're kind of going to send you around that way. And then we're just going to kind of loop round to the other side of the, the governor's palace. Okay, everyone's entered position. I've moved my infantry round the long way to the far side of the plaza. So they're going to walk onto the plaza and be in a nice spread out position, meaning these guys can only go for one of them. Phalanxes are tough, but they're slow. All my cavalry, meanwhile, is over here on this plaza, ready to run in and take these guys out from behind. Well, they can't really take them out because they can't make them rout, but they can, at the bare minimum, smash into them and do a lot of damage. And now, those guys are going to start heading over to here. You guys head at speed over to this direction, and yeah, you guys head over in this direction nice and fast, please. You guys head over here just a little bit further forward. Actually, just fall back more in this sort of direction. Lovely. And the question is, what are they going to do? Because generally, like, they'll go pretty reliably at whatever they see first entering the battlefield. So now I'm just going to... You guys are you not in range yet? How are you guys not in range yet? Okay, fine. Just head forward a little bit further, please. Head forward just a little bit further. Okay, yep, fine. And stop. And fire at will. And you guys fall back, please. Thank you. And now the Hastati will do some excellent work murdering these guys. Yeah, you see. And they've walked... Well, I would say they've walked right into the trap, except they really just kind of walked straight past the trap. The trap was there and very, very obvious, but they've just decided, you know what? Screw it. We like the trap. We'll go for the trap. And now they will walk straight into yet more flipping... Actually, if I can just get them to back off just a little bit more. If I just can get them to just... Yeah, you guys just back off just a little bit. Back off just a little bit further. If I can just get them off the plaza, if they're willing to go off the plaza... And I can just batter them in the rear. If I can just push them off the plaza, they will break and I'll auto win while taking relatively few losses. We're taking a lot of Roman casualties right now, which I don't particularly like, which is a shame. Right, actually, get the cavalry in here. Push them off. Push them off. Break the phalanx. If we can just push them off here. You guys, I'd like you to back off if you can. Just get everyone over here. Just a single charge back. If I can just get the phalanx formation to break. Oh, they're so close. There's like 3 guys on the plaza. The moment these 2 guys are dead or pushed off, then this force will break and I will win by default. Come on, I'm taking needless casualties here. And my own infantry, yep, they are broken. And now that means I can just... Actually, why have I not auto won when they've broken? Do you not auto win when every single unit breaks in a fight like this? I genuinely don't know. Maybe not. Down they go. Lovely. Now, hopefully, I get some of those guys back in casualties, because I took more... Yeah. Actually, that's possibly an example of a battle which, if I'd auto-resolved it, I might have actually done better. The fact that they got in 340 kills is no good at all. Please tell me I got some of those hoplites back. Okay, I got 50 flipping guys back, so I've now got... Yeah, I've got 2... Maybe I'll just merge those hoplites into 1 unit of hoplites, dear oh dear. Now, let's figure out how big Larissa actually was. It is... 162. How many... Okay, so if the population... Ooh! Population to disperse 5,846. Blimey. Okay, so apparently the population here is huge. Because, yeah, if you can massacre that many, how the hell is Larissa that damn big? Okay, well... I wasn't actually expecting that. I was expecting this to be a smaller settlement that they drained dry to train people. But in that case, yeah, I'll enslave it. I hadn't actually set up to enslave, meaning the population will be spread all over the shop. But honestly, that's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, we'll enslave the population. That means basically every city gets about 1,000 each, because most cities have a person in them. That actually works for me. And also, this city will be easier to manage. There we are. Larissa belongs to me. And that's put Termin up to 1,500. Actually, I'm almost wishing I'd be able to put more of that into Termin, to be honest. Apollonia up a little bit too. Tarentum's gone up. Yeah, so basically that population's just been spread out fairly evenly. Salona's benefited from it, which is nice, as has Batavium. So it's good for those places. Now, Larissa, let's have a good proper look at you at this point. So, okay, that was at least a proper wall, which is nice. And I can at least, yeah, actually, there's no point in not getting this place down a bit, because this place has got loads of population. Good, this just became a training centre for the Empire. I can actually train enough here. And please tell me you've got, no blacksmith or anything, which is a shame. Actually, you can't have a blacksmith, you don't have a market yet. Walls would probably be a really sensible investment. Because I feel like the Macedonians are coming. Cavalry Stables isn't that good. Basically, Cavalry Stables lets me have my own Equites Auxilia, which is basically my own missile cavalry, who are good, but not at this point in the game really justified. Oh, wait, hang on. No, you do have the blacksmith. Oh, maybe blacksmith's tied to trader, and it's market that's tied to, like, armourer? Hang on, let me remind myself here. Yes, indeed it is. Blacksmith's tied to trader and market is tied to armor, which is the next step up, which lets you also upgrade missile weapons together with armor, which is very, very useful indeed. Yeah, I feel like there's nothing better I can do right now than build walls here. The Macedonians are coming, and I think we're going to be trying to hold in Larissa for quite some flipping time. Speaking of which, by any chance, are there any mercenaries you can buy? No, there's not. That is a concern that there's literally no mercenaries in the area. I'm just going to merge those 2 guys together. I'd rather have 1 proper hoplite than 2 ones that are so feeble they're not going to be able to do much. Oh dear. This doesn't look good, does it? Right, and then I can train... What do I want to train? Ooh, my first unit of Principes I can train. I can't train archers here. Do I need more cavalry? I probably just need more straight up. Yeah, I probably just need more straight up flipping infantry here. Oppius Brutus, who still has traits none. Literally 0 traits. Marvellous. Actually, I think we've got someone better. You're at Termin. You're the faction leader, and you're really bloody good. So actually, probably you should go and deal with this situation, because you can actually handle it. Although we should also be aware, these guys might come over in this direction, in which case that could actually be a little bit troubling. Right, okay. Amulius Brutus, you are the one who's very, very good at managing cities. Fine, you stay in Apollonia and manage the city. You, however, my good man, Cornelius Brutus, though you will never be influential, you could theoretically become a decent leader. Yeah. So you head over to Termon, okay? The faction leader's heading around here to Larissa. Actually, he's just going to step outside and check if by any chance there's any... Oh, there's mercenaries. Okay, 1 group of mercenary peltas. I'll flipping take it, alright? So he now heads over here, and he's going to make his way to Larissa, together with his new mercenary peltasts. So he's now going to assume command here. He has got himself a load of heavy cavalry, together with the fact that he's just a great commander in general, and he's also got... Does he have any... Okay, so he's got local hero for +1 morale. which is good. And he's got bloody for plus... Okay, this is the guy we want. Extra morale against those massive Macedonian forces is going to be very, very useful indeed. We've got limited cavalry, but together with the heavy cavalry, that will be enough. Termon, I'm just going to lower the tax rate a little bit, because Cornelius Brutus, oh dear. I've just asked the ugliest, most terrible man in the world to manage this settlement. He's not going to do a good job, but never mind, he'll just have to take care of it. The Greeks could... Oh dear. Okay, the problem will come if the Greeks decide that actually they want to come and take Termon, and yeah, they want to do it in a hurry, because especially if the Macedonians simultaneously decide they're going to besiege Larissa, that's where this is going to go wrong. So we've got this fairly large, significant army here that could theoretically go and help out Termon if that comes under attack. But honestly, I'd almost rather that happens if the Greeks decide they want to take Termon back than have a Greek-Macedonian sandwich with Larissa as the filling. But on the other hand, maybe, just flipping maybe, I could actually get some peace out of this. I kind of want to have peace with the Greeks. How long has it been since I've actually done anything significant against the Greeks? I don't... Well, actually, you know what? I'm about to try and murder their fleet, so I'm not going to maintain a peace against them. But by any chance, by any flipping chance, how good are you as a diplomat? You are reasonable. You're reasonable enough. And how influential are you? Not very. If me and him have a chat, there's a possibility I can talk this guy round. I'd like to offer you a ceasefire, and I'm willing to toss in a big pile of money to make it happen, because I'm worried about what might happen next turn. So, I'm willing to offer you a ceasefire and trade rights, and don't bother with map information, because sometimes the computer gets funny about map information it doesn't want. I'm willing to make you a single payment of, I would say, 5,000 denarii as compensation for that small issue in the fact I just enslaved a huge number of Greeks. 5,000 denarii, ceasefire, and trade rights. Okay? Yeah? Darn. Not up for it. Nothing I can do here other than end this turn and see how badly wrong this is about to go, because that army's clearly after something, and if it does, I've just got to hope I can relieve them in time with this force over here, but I suspect it's possible if the Greeks really decide they want Termon at the exact same time as Larissa comes under threat. I may have to sacrifice Termon just on a temporary basis in order to make sure that I keep holding Larissa, because just in terms of the number of people there and the amount of infrastructure, I kind of need to keep these guys. Okay, Julii bumbling around. Macedonians are... Oh, wait, hang on. Where did the Macedonians just go? The Germans want the alliance. I'll go for the alliance with Germany. Abso-flipping-lutely. That's fine. Did the Macedonians just besiege Apollonia? I think I just... Oh, we've got a dub. We've got... Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, no. I didn't even realise they could get that far. Right, okay. This actually is probably... Alright, so, we've got problems. Problems in question. The problems in question are numerous. The Macedonians have interestingly decided not really to bother with the whole Larissa situation. They've decided that's not worth their trouble. But what we have instead is a big Greek army, but not a huge one, is now outside Termon, which is fine. The bigger problem is a big Macedonian army, but again, not the most dangerous or terrifying one of all, has decided to try and take Apollonia. I've got two family members there, including the factioner, who's actually a really, really good bloke. So I don't really want to get involved in trouble with him. Right. What are we going to do about all of this then? I'm guessing the Greeks aren't going to want peace right now, by the way. First, let's see if we can find that massive Greek full-stack army. There it is. I've found the full-stack army, so I can push that around a little bit. I don't really want that getting involved anywhere, but I almost might need to leave that one be, just because, well, hang on, just 1 second, please. Just 1 flipping second. Right now, get my guy over to, yeah, right here. Lovely. Get involved in this here fight that's going to do terribly. Oh, you're going to lose so badly. Apparently, a couple of important things happened. Ah, Plague in Macedonia. Yes, there is a Plague in Macedonia. This is an event that just occurs because it's a historical event. as well as the hand pump being invented. Those two events always happen at pretty much the exact same moment. So, Macedonia is our first plague city. Plague cities are interesting, because plague cities basically, the population stops growing. In fact, it goes dramatically downhill to represent people dying from the plague. However, what's more interesting about plague cities is plague spreads from city to city. If these guys take troops out of Thessalonica and move them over to Bylazora will get infected with the plague. That means you can contain the plague through enacting a strict quarantine. However, what if I was to just slip a unit into here, get him infected with the plague, and then move it around myself, which I'm allowed to do? Guys, I'm going to give you one last chance to make peace with me, alright? I am willing to make a very significant payment, alright? Let's say 7,000 denarii up front if you just back off right now. Okay? You had your chance. Biological warfare it is. Because this spy is going to go into Thessalonica now. So in he goes. Lovely. So now my guy has plague. Yep, this character is a plague bearer because he went into a plague settlement. He's got himself lovely and infected. And that means next turn, assuming he survives, because plague characters do die, of course. And by the way, this guy will now, yeah, this guy has plague too. I'm not sure exactly what the chances of plague killing someone is. It is certainly significant. People who are in plague cities can straight up die. That's very, very true. So if I now were to move you over, I'm not sure like if I spy on this guy I can get him infected, but I can go and get Bylazora infected, for example, and anywhere else I want to get infected. The problem is, if you start spreading the plague, then potentially, you know, enemy spies can also end up spreading the plague. You can accidentally create a bit of a Europe-wide epidemic. It generally doesn't get that bad, because in this point in the game, like, not many people have spies. When plague breaks out in the mid to late game, when there's a lot of spies and assassins bumbling around... Yeah, I've seen very large parts of Europe get simultaneously infected with plague, and the population of the entire game world was massively reduced. It was great fun. So this guy's now infected, and next turn, we're going to go and infect Bylazora. If the Macedonians decide they want to have war with me, that's fine. I'm just going to infect all their cities with plagues and screw them over. Now, right, let's deal with Termon first. That's going to be the relatively simple one to take care of, because I've got a large force in Larissa, and these guys, yeah, that army can't get to me. I think this army won't be able to get to me either, so in which case, these guys can just straight up go around here and flipping smash these bastards. Oh, that's not a fun force. Right, let's just pretend I'm doing a sally battle, purely for the sake of checking what this force is made up of. So, 1,700 men, 2 units of armoured hoplites. These guys are, yeah, you can see they're very, very tough indeed. A load of normal hoplites, and then a handful of, yeah, just basically 1 militia hoplite, and then a bunch of peltas. Interestingly, 0 cavalry. Now that actually works to my advantage, because, yeah, that means I can just charge out. And also, no general. No heavy cavalry there at all. So that means I can basically outmaneuver them very, very easily indeed. So actually, my cavalry should be able to just basically smash into them. In fact, actually... a sally battle might not be the worst thing in the world, because sally battles are, just in case you've never played this game before, this is actually worth showing off. A sally battle basically means I'm allowed to step outside and fight him. I can end the battle anytime I want. All I need to do is have all my troops inside the walls and have the gates closed behind them. So basically it just means I can just kind of go, do whatever I can. If you've got like loads of archers, these are always worth doing. But as it is... thanks to the fact I've got heavy cavalry and they've got 0 cavalry at all, I might as well just straight up charge out the front door and see if I can knock out some of their peltasts before the actual main battle begins, because they've got no cavalry to pursue my general with. So let's just head out of here. And now that unit over there looks rather vulnerable. So I'm just going to send my general. Actually, let's just make sure he's actually properly drawn up first. And yeah, there we are. I'd say that unit over there looks very, very vulnerable indeed. Let's just stick close by to the... where are you going, by the way? They've decided they want to run over in that direction. I think they're trying to go over to the hill, which is odd, but it's fine. And that's one of the units of the heavy group. Right, let's just get around the back of these lads. And yeah, then we'll smash into this wing, and we'll just be able to pick off at least 1 group of peltas right now for free, because there's nothing they can really do about it. So let's just, yeah, head round here. I think they are trying to make it around there, though if I'm lucky, they might even, like, get hit a little bit. And then are they not sure what they want to do? Yeah, there's 1 unit of the heavy hoplites that doesn't know what they want to do. And then just go after these guys into the rear. Watch out for the spears. And then into these guys. And now we just want to hit them a little bit. Lovely. Now get out of there. I just want to basically just disrupt this formation, but then flee before I actually get any, armoured hoplites on me. But at this point, these 3 units have now become separated from the rest of the pack. So now just into them. You're going like vaguely over there. My general is going to now follow these lads round here. And if I'm fortunate, now we should be out of the way of these lads. And we can just basically clear out these lads. And if we're lucky, actually, these peltas over here will be even more vulnerable. So we'll just go through here, start mowing them down from behind, mow them down, mow them down, mow them down. The problem is because they're fleeing, you don't get a good proper charge into them, which is a shame, but that's fine. Down to 130, 124. Now let's get out of here because I do want to get a proper charge in, and those guys might theoretically decide to throw at me. And now they've decided they do want to charge. That's fine. Do a nice... There we go. We've got a proper charge in. Lovely. So now down to 113. Right, they're broken. Good. That is 1 unit broken right there. Ride them down right now because every unit that's dead is dead. Well, theoretically they might actually recover a little bit after the battle, but let's just get over here, and now we just slam into the side of these peltas, who are going to be unhappy to see their friends routing. So now we just charge straight through these bastards, and then use this. This is a trick I learned, by the way. If you use the rally command, your general falls back, meaning he's going to be at the rear of the unit, which is actually really, really useful. So now you just head over here. These peltas are annoying, but I should be able to get a good, a good charge in there. Smash, 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 smash. Done a load of good damage there. Lovely. And that's a very damaged unit. It's already wavering. And Shaker, not wavering anymore. I'm just going to get them out of there. That's fine. At this point, actually, probably my best bet will be to try and get this guy up onto a hill if I can. Just get way away from them. I don't want to give them a chance to throw any little javelins at me whatsoever. But I can probably wipe out all 3 of these units without even really trying that hard. Now I just charge down the hill at them, and they'll probably change their mind in a second. No, they decided against it. That's fine. That was a nice downhill charge. They're already wavering. They've seen their friends routing. They're losing troops incredibly quickly. Yep, they're broken as well. Beautiful. Back off from them, straight onto the next group. I can just clear out all of these peltas. If you've got a single unit of cavalry, and any general counts as a single unit of cavalry, you can do a spectacular amount of damage in a sally battle. And now, straight over to these guys. We'll murder these as well. So now, I've basically eliminated all the indirect fire. Stay away from the armoured hoplites, mind. I've eliminated the vast majority of the indirect fire that was available to the Greek cities for the upcoming battle. This is also, by the way, effectively just free experience for my general. And my general, like, obviously his heavy cavalry is some of the most important units on the field. So as a result, any extra experience he gets is just magnificently useful. Now, we've got ourselves more units over here, though those are now a little bit... There's a little bit protected. They're trying to stick close to the armoured hoplites, which is a little bit on the annoying side. So I'm going to leave those guys just for a second. I'm going to go and hit these guys in the rear. And now, same trick as before, we're just going to ram into the back of these guys. And, thanks to the comment section, I never knew this. Of course, it's very clever, because the general can perform a rally action where basically he says, hey guys, regroup on me. But to do it, he kind of stops and rears up on his horse to draw attention to himself, meaning if you don't want him at the front, so you want to make sure he's safe, then you can do that to make sure he's always at the rear of a charge, which is really, really bloody useful. So we're just going to charge downhill at these guys, and as we get closer, I'm just going to say, hey guys, rally! So the general now falls through it. I never knew that. Thank you, person in comments who told me that. So we now charge down the hill and straight into the front of these guys. Bash, bash, bash. And the general is nice and safe at the rear. A downhill cavalry charge will do a ridiculously large amount of damage. We are now up to flipping 2 bars of experience, which is very, very useful. They're shaken but not broken, so just pull my guys out of there. We'll do another charge in a second. Meanwhile, I think over there, those guys who are still fleeing and broken might actually soon get in the way of the actual wall defenders, which will be very, very useful indeed. These guys have decided they want to run at me. That's fine. They've got themselves a little bit far ahead of themselves. So if I just go over to... Actually, if I go over to here, they'll probably decide they don't want to run. And then change my... then change my mind last minute. Fall behind and smashy, smashy, smash, and they immediately break because they're absolutely exhausted. Lovely. And there we are, another unit of peltas completely broken. And now we just go in, smash them all. Lovely death for all of you. And the armoured hoplites can't do anything to stop me. Yep, I'd say we are about done. So all I need to do now is send a general back inside the city, please. Thank you. In he comes at speed. We're on triple speed right now. And I've just wiped out all their peltasts, which is going to make the coming battle much, much easier. In you go. And everyone's inside the city. The gates are closed. Back to normal speed. Their peltasts are gone. And now I just quit the battle whenever I want. Really quit. Your sally has been successful. You may leave.
Our army has not prevailed today. But then the same can be said about the enemy.
Okay, if you could see the numbers that I'm looking at, narrator man, I would say that you would very much conclude that this was our victory. Okay, they got 14 kills, I got 554. I'd say that's a victory. The game was even playing the slightly mournful music there, which is slightly ridiculous. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the fight back has begun, but we have got plenty more to do yet before we have lifted the siege on these two towns. So, that's coming next time. But in the meantime, I've been John. This has been many a true and this has been the just utterly wonderful Rome Total War. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Oi! You bastard! That was mostly still fine! Stolen the bridge! All we need to do is create a counterweight over here. This is like bridge ballast. Come on! Uh-oh. No. Wait. That's fine. That creaking's supposed to happen.